Brother Saud, in those days, Saud was selling perfume. And in those days, selling perfume was different than these guys on the street now. You know, they looked like something is up. But that time, the ladies would come out of the office, and Saud was standing there. So Saud Saud was light. And he knew all the ladies. They were very formative with him and what have you. And I was standing there with him. And they would glance at me like, what you doing with that nigga? So after about a while, I just said, I don't know what's wrong with y'all, but I'm not from here. I'm not from New Orleans. I don't care what the hell y'all be doing down here. I don't care nothing about it. You know, I was telling them light women, they could look at the perfume, and then light Saud, and then the brother, Tar Baby. We was all in the car, 3 of us. The picture that Saud would give of New Orleans and all around was totally different than Blackie sitting back there in back. It was different. They were both friends. They hung out together. But they had different experiences. They had different experiences. And that's the reality of that time, and it hasn't changed as much, but there's certain things that different people have. For instance, in my study of white girls, they don't lack or they don't particularly want or go out and seek a light-skinned, curly-headed Negro. Black women do. But white girls they want them a jungle bunny stamped in. The jungle bunny, you ever see white girls who they choose? I don't need no, I have a whole family of white folks. I don't need no half-white person, right? You look at who white girls pull, that nigga gonna be dark or almost, he might be black, you know, but he ain't gonna be, look at him, watch him. You're not gonna find white girls with high yellow, wavy-haired men. Think about it. You don't see that many of them with them. Who you see them with? Tar babies. They want a tar baby. They don't want, there's white folks all, I don't want no half-white man, you know. But now for the Negro, if he looking at a girl, ooh, a half-white woman, you know what I mean? No matter what the shades, you know, go from sign with me. They like that. Okay, this racial stuff is all over the world. It's getting better now. Chinese had it, Koreans had it, everybody had it, where white people made them feel inferior. That was because of colonialism. But now it's kicking back in where, and this Iranians and everybody, they all got it. They all got it, you know, okay. So this international racism is something we have to carry. I say let's carry it with responsibility. With responsibility, just to let the white folks know it don't bother me. I'm not going to carry a racist thing around with me. You don't have to worry about me because of a racial issue. And I'm not going to worry about you. I don't think you're better, and I don't think you... Look at the burden you put on people. Suppose a darky Negro marry a white woman because she's special. Suppose after 2 weeks he realized she ain't special. You done did her an injustice. You married her because she was supposed to be special. She's supposed to be white. Or if a white woman marry a darky, thinking that the darky is going to be more, nigga find out that he's a normal Negro. He's a normal human being. Look at the injustice that each people do to each other with cosmetic Hollywood views, you know, mixed up historical views of the people's performance based on who they are, based on the people and how they relate, how mature they are, and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, peoples have different characteristics. They try to show black people as just mean as they can be and horrible, but black people are forgiving. They're forgiving. Remember, Marion Barry went to jail 50,000 times. And after he went to jail for, for crack, the bitch set me up. You know, this is on TV. Y'all remember that? Yeah, the bitch, Rashida, the bitch set me up. He's a Negro all the way. And black people voted him in as the mayor again. And he told her, y'all got to get over that. Why? Because black people got an uncle like that. Everybody got, this is all as our relatives. The nigga was good at everything, but he couldn't sit down this, that, or that, right? And that's the way they looked at Marion Barry. He's a relative. So he just did, ain't nobody never been convicted of dope. And he come right out. This was Black City in those days. They voted him back in because they felt the white man set him up, the old Negro woman set him up, right? The system is against him. Forget that he smoked all the crack that they could find, right? Right, he smoked, the man. When I got here, I said, the mayor is in 89. I said, man, the mayor and everybody, you could get, DC was wild, and I loved it. If you needed stickers for your car, you know, oh man, $35, I get you a pair, okay? I never bought nothing. I just go down, I went over, right, that shopping center right over there. It was on Benning Road. It was one of them big places where you bought wood and everything, just like Home Depot. What was the name of that thing? It was right over there. There was a couple here. They don't have them anymore. But I went over there and I was buying wood, and the black woman was always trying to get a husband or something like that. So I had the wood on there, and I remember I had 45 pieces of wood. So the sister said, 15. I said, fine. I should say, well, I'm honest. I should say you miscounted. But she just said 15 and everything else. And that's the way they did. That's probably what run them out of business. I'll tell you the name of the place. You know, but that was the environment when I came here in the late 80s, you know. On the question, back to the question of race, you know, I wanted to tell, if I could dig the old ladies up, my mother's friends, because my mother was older. She was 38 or 40 when I was born, and my father was 40. They was all old. I was the youngest one, so they were all older. So all of my mother's friends, when I was coming up, was in their 50s. They was not young girls anymore. And they used to tell me, ooh, Ethel, he's a pretty little old black thing. So I just grew up thinking, this is a pretty black thing. I never had, you know, the stuff, and I didn't realize what they was doing because they was from the South. And the lighter you was in the South, each shade is a sign of approval. And I guess I looked at my pictures when I was younger, so I think I must have been a little darker, if that's possible. But I was really a little darky. And they would give me a big kiss and say, Ethel, he's a pretty little old black thing. So I always grew up thinking, well, I'm a pretty little black thing. Everybody else, I could see what was happening in the society. You know, if you're white, you're all right. If you're yellow, you're mellow. If you're brown, stick around. I saw all of that. And I understood it full, but I just thought of myself, I'm just a pretty little old black thing, that's all, because that's what they told me. It didn't hit me, man, till in the 80s, and those people were dead then. I said, man, I wish I could dig them up and pump life into them or something and tell them how much I appreciated what they had did for me. But they wasn't young girls. See, if the young girls, ooh, he got curly hair, but when girls get older, they want a man. Somebody's gonna stay there, you know what I mean, with them, raise the kids. In those days, it was the darker, stronger, they didn't get first pick on the girls. They got second and third pick. The girls, when they, they gonna go with what the society says is the handsomeness. And then by the time the Negro get around there, the darkies, why they have children already, stuff like that. You look at the first children, well, in those days, during my generation, they were always a little lighter because the people that was knocking the girl over, no matter what shade she was, they was, it was moving towards. Anyway, that stuff, I just think a lot because it never hurt me, but it hurt most niggas. Hey, man, I talk to brothers from New Orleans, and sometimes they would go off into a thing, and I remember even the Masjid. This guy was a tar baby. He said, man, they make it thing like it's something illegal or wrong, and they just look on out the corner of their eye, almost water in it. The niggas is too black, and that's one of the biggest crimes that black people did to each other. That itself, but it comes from the Euro. Don't worry about that. That is going away. Everybody, the melting pot, when I say melting pot, these niggas is melting fast. And they melting white folks. And you don't see it here in D.C. You see it now, though, because you see it in the magazines, in the clothes, everything. Don't have the black, dark girl anymore. You have frizzly hair looking, right? Look at all this stuff. Mixed race. They ain't mixed race. They niggas. They just light-skinned niggas, what we call them. I want to tell you about a funny experience. The father of this German guy, one of the biggest Shabbos people I know, he married an Arab woman, an Egyptian woman. He's passed away now. He used to be at all our programs. He was a good speaker. He spoke here. He came here, and he came here in the 80s. No, he came here in the 90s. He looked around. He said, man, this is like Zimbabwe or Mozambique, He was a revolutionary person. Now, his son, who was at a conference in Iran, let's say 99. Could have been the 90s. It's not the 80s, but it was somewhere close to that. And he was a journalist too. And his father was from Switzerland. He was a Swiss. So the kid he was really a nice guy. And people that have problems lean on niggas all the time. I don't know if they tell you if they don't. They lean. If you seem a little mature, so he was just telling me some of that thing. I feel out of place so good. I'm not white. I'm not black. So I told him, I just said, oh man, in America, you'd just be high yellow. He said, high yellow. He went to his father. I guess his daddy thought he was crazy. Who you been talking to? He said, Baba, I'm high yellow. And I was just telling him, oh, in America, shoot, you high yellow, you got, curly-ish hair. Man, you be right in with us. Ain't nobody would miss, What? I said, yeah, you high yellow. I mean, I guess I sounded like a damn fool telling them. It was just a response. I didn't go through the cultural and what it mean. His father was white, Switzerland, white, and his mother was an Arab, so she was lightish too. So he was high yellow, not just yellow, with So I said, oh man, no. Like if you was with us, you'd just be high yellow. He went to his father, and I could hear him, Baba, I'm high yellow. I almost started to say, I didn't explain to him. I didn't have to, but I'm trying to tell him that, here it would be no problem, right? Right here, you'd be right in with us. We'd just have a meeting, and you'd go home, and it ain't no problem. You want to marry somebody, you just choose. You'd probably choose a darkie because you kind of yellow. You're not kind of yellow, real yellow. And that's the view that white folks, one little guy, he was about 10 years old when we was